So yeah, I did it again. The world record is mine. I am the world's greatest streamer, 2 streams in a row. We have something a little bit fun. Team coaching. I've got my hot cup of tea. I'm in the voice chat. I have the VOD. The team's ready. I'm feeling ornery and I'm feeling very grumpy. We're in a perfect position. Figaro warm up with the music, which I think I did a couple days ago actually, but whatever. There's not a lot of options with music, so I'll take it. And yeah, we're gonna get rolling. Please stop saying Spilo. Just a heads up, how I do team coaching. It is going to be pretty in depth in terms of like the structure and communication and figuring everything out. I will be reading chat, but I will most likely not be responding to chat. So if you guys have a 911 emergency, I'll probably respond. But that's about it. Everything else is going to be mostly focusing on the team I'm coaching because obviously it is a paid session. These guys paid literally thousands of dollars for me to be able to coach them. So I'm going to make sure that I do a good job. Having some internet issues already, which is not a PogChamp. So I'm actually going to pull open chat on my phone, so this will be easier. The iPod? Yeah, it's plugged up and charging. You can steal it. Famous person, you're here? Oh, hello. Okay. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, you're going to have to say them for after the session. I'm going to be focusing on the team while we're reviewing. And have fun. Enjoy. This is a platinum team, and we're going to hop in. All right. Bye. Bye. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So hopefully no internet issues because we're going to have to stream through 2 viewpoints at the same time because obviously I don't want to, don't want you guys having to deal with stream delay. That would kind of suck. Also, my double voice, but I guess just a quick introduction. Obviously, my name's Spilo. I do coaching. You guys ordered a session, so I guess we just kind of go into it. I have a VOD that you guys wanted to look over, specifically communication. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, so that works out really, really well in my opinion. Generally, a lot of the times, especially like you guys were talking about, like your planning in terms of your communication, and I think that lines up very heavily with what I would recommend for really any team to initially work on is that like that base level of communication and making sure that you guys always have a plan. So we'll be looking over that in your VOD. Just to be clear, we will be doing a Q&A at the end as well. So if you guys have any questions along the way, just ask them. But if it's like something slightly separate or more about meta or you didn't really get a chance to ask it, we'll just do it at the end and we'll make time for that. But yeah, let me know if anything I explained doesn't make sense or if I'm mumbling or if I sound like a jackass. I mean, that might be the entire review, so you guys will have to be patient. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this. So let's see if we get this working. Hang on, my kitty is jumping into my lap. Okay. All right. Let's get this streaming really quick. Share my screen. Let's see here. This should work. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Actually,
yeah.
I might need to turn this off because I might have the stream window because I don't know if it'll pick up audio. Because I don't know if it'll pick up your video audio, and obviously, if we're going over communication, that's kind of important. So, can you guys see this now? For those of you that are in chat?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to change scene for stream so they can see it as well. You guys are plat and trying to kind of, I guess, like, what are your goals like as a team? Like, what are you guys trying to work on? What are you guys trying to improve on? And, like, why do you scrum? I guess is a good question.
I love how we never thought about that before.
Yeah, like, that's a good question.
All right. Because I think one thing that like everybody can kind of agree on is that Overwatch is pretty fun. So that's why you're playing it. But I guess my question would be like, why are you not playing ranked? Why are you scrimming? That'd be my question.
Well, individually, I want to like get better.
Okay.
Because I don't necessarily want to, like, I'm probably not going to be staying with the team later in the future because I'll be going to a college team.
Right.
Because, like, I'll be working with another tier 2 coach.
Okay.
But I just want to at least, I guess my most goals is to at least make it to Contenders or OWL in the future.
Okay. All right. So that's fair. That sounds good. Like, that sounds awesome. Why are you guys, like, the other players, like, what is your goal? Like, why do you scrim? Why don't you just play ranked? Because it's essentially the same game, right? But why do you prefer scrimming?
I feel like
Oh, you can go, Bobby.
Okay. I feel like for like scrimming, I feel like the more competitive and coordinated environment feels more competitive than brain dead ranked. So I felt like I wanted more of like a challenge, more like coordinated to kind of like learn more.
Sure. There's another player that spoke up. What was it?
I initially wanted to start scrimming because I wanted to get better at the game because Overwatch is one of the only like FPS or team games that I ever play. And since I was like hard set gold, I wanted to get better at it, right? So I just like wanted to be able to have the what's it called? The opportunity to be able to grow within the game because it's the only game I play. So.
Yeah, sure. That's fair. Okay, anybody else major, or is it kind of all the ideas have already kind of been spoken up?
Yeah, I guess for me, like I've always enjoyed playing with other people, and obviously a huge part of Overwatch is playing with the team. Like you can improve as much as you can, like your own individual skill, but it's also so much more important to be able to work with other people. And I think being able to have a, solid team that you're always coming back to that you're playing with, you can kind of, learn strengths and weaknesses from other people, but then also like, when we're doing VOD reviews for, say a role that I don't normally play, I'm picking up on pieces that I wouldn't normally get because I'm, only playing support or only playing tank or whatever. So I think that's super valuable.
Sure. Okay, so I guess to kind of wrap it up, to sum it up, would be one is you guys are kind of getting the opportunity of competing and playing with other people that I think you guys describe as like brain dead ranked, that there's like you can communicate and coordinate and do things that you can't usually do in ranked. And then also, like you said, it also gives you the opportunity to kind of learn and work together more with people and learn more about the game. And obviously, like learning in of itself is kind of fun. Like if it's something that you're interested in or you're curious about, it's fun. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be something that you get paid for, but just the process of learning. It's like reading a book almost, but in terms of a video game experience. Now I will say this before we like actually get into the review. The big chunk of this review is going to be focused on exactly what's going to help you guys improve together, working together, and it is going to have impact on any team or any coordinated environment, pugs, anything else that you guys do in the future. I want that to be very clear. This review will be tailored towards you guys, but it will have impact at any team that you guys play in the future. Heck, I would probably send this VOD to a lot of Contenders teams, and they'd get something out of it in terms of communication. But I do want to be clear that this VOD might help you on a couple of ranked games, but it's not going to be anything major. Ranked is a mode that's more about finding ways of working around the lack of communication and coordination rather than developing and building it. And unless you're the type of person who just loves shot calling 24/7 and doesn't mind hard calling with nobody talking back, don't take this as like, oh, I've learned so much, I'm gonna go like grind ranked and I'm gonna climb like 600 SR. This is gonna be more about like making your scrims more enjoyable, giving you guys more direction with how to improve, and it's not gonna have a huge impact in your rank. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to very clarify one thing before we even start the review, and why I'm so glad to be talking about communication with you guys is the number one most important thing in Overwatch is leadership. And when I mean leadership, I don't necessarily mean there's you guys, bow down to King so-and-so, he's the Sigma player, and he or she decides exactly what we're doing. Leadership in terms of there's a direction with what you guys are doing, and so you guys follow up on that plan. It could be 6 people leading together. It could be one main shot caller and everybody supplementing. It could be 2 shot callers. It could be depending on the composition you guys are playing. It doesn't matter, but guys need to know what you are doing and when you're doing it. Because if you don't have that information, it doesn't matter how good your aim is or how good your macro understanding of the game is or how good your cooldown usage is, you're going to fail. There have been many teams in Contenders, Tier 3, Overwatch League even, that have been composed of very good mechanical players, but because they didn't cohesively bind together with communication, there was no leadership with what we're doing and when we're doing, they flopped. They did not perform, or they massively underperformed. And without exception, the one key component of every successful team, and by the way, this isn't just Overwatch, but we're focusing on Overwatch here, is leadership. Teams might do it in different ways. For example, I don't know how well you guys follow Contenders, but one example I always bring up is the recent big show match, NA versus EU, American Tornado versus British Hurricane, like the best Contenders team in each region, right? And BH was very disciplined, coaches worked really hard, setting a good structure, very tight and disciplined, very good. American Tornado, complete opposite. Bunch of kids, very good mechanically, but basically had zero coaching. Not super disciplined, just kind of did their thing. But both teams had great leadership. They had players that would speak up in game, take lead, give plans, everybody follows up, that kind of thing. And so when you guys talk about making a plan and executing off of that plan, like what's our mid-fight planning, that is Overwatch leadership in a nutshell. It's not everything. Like you want leadership mid-fight, you want leadership with like how you guys relate to each other as an individual between scrim blocks or between maps, but like that is a huge chunk of it. And whenever I review with any team, it always starts with, what are you guys doing? So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at prioritizing here. Because if you don't have a plan, and nothing else matters. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It literally just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter even what comp. Like, you'd be running the world's best comp, but if you don't know like what the plan is with that comp, it doesn't matter. So can you guys see my screen now where I have your composition pulled up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I say comp doesn't matter, but comp can kind of be used to give you an idea of what you want to be doing, very basically. So if you would describe your composition, how would you describe your comp? Like, is it spammier? Like, is it like
Spam,
more longer
sure.
range, short range? Like, what do you guys think?
Definitely spam long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, spam.
Okay, spam, more of a long range composition. I don't like using the terms fast or slow exactly, but it's definitely like heavier damage, a little bit squishier, more spam. So how do you guys think, without even looking at the enemy's composition, just probably give me a guess. What do you guys think? How do you guys think you want to position? How do you guys want to take fights? Just give me a couple sentences, nothing crazy.
Slow.
Okay.
You want to play, or like you want to be able to sustain faster than or longer than the team.
Okay. Anybody else?
Taking multiple off angles.
Sure. Anybody else? Like, what range do you guys generally play against enemy compositions?
Well, this one we really want to like play like with like a easy kite. Like I feel like if they like push into us, I feel like they'll have the advantage.
Okay. So you just want to kind of keep them at arm's distance. If you look at, Sigma, Zen, McCree, obviously Mercy's damage boost, Echo damage, even, Roadhog, like those are all generally longer distance heroes. So the longer ranges, more spammy. That's all a good way to approach this composition. So we won't go into details of the micro here. I don't think it's even particularly important, but I think that's exactly kind of what we're looking for. And so that affects how we play. So right now, in our very setup, how should we be setting up to encourage what kind of play style?
Setting up high ground.
Sure, high ground. Somebody earlier said angles. We talked about distance. Like everything. I obviously don't have a good viewpoint of everybody right now, but what we'd want to set up to spam them out as they walk through the choke and just get as much pressure as possible. Don't worry so much about we all need to be shooting the same target. It just needs to be we all need to be shooting the enemy team at the same time as they walk through the same choke. Does that make sense? And that's the plan. So let's just listen and watch how this first fight goes, and then this is when things are good. After the first fight, obviously that's where things get real serious.
Yeah, bash. I can't tell.
I think they're trying to TP to
If you guys want me to pause, just say pause so I know it's not the video voice.
Czar.
Ryan.
Ryan.
Main.
They're going in the hotel. They're going in the hotel.
Junk Reaper, they have hard rush. You need to back.
Okay, so this is where obviously a little bit of game knowledge helps, because knowing how to play against different compositions is great at like giving yourself a plan. Can anybody give me a guess about how you're going to be able to beat this composition, approximately?
Just keep rotating around them.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah. Anybody else? Like, what are the what's the shortcomings of Reaper and Reinhardt and Zarya? Like, what are they not very good at?
Long
range.
Right, exactly. So this composition wants to chase you down and kill you. Now, if they're playing with a Lucio, theoretically, are they going to eventually catch somebody?
Yes.
Yes, eventually. But hopefully at that point, they've already died, or they have no shield, they have no bubbles, they have no amp, they have no heals. The Moira does no heal over, or whatever they're using, okay? But we want to make that any movement they make as painful as possible, just keep them at distance. So don't overthink this matchup too much. It's a fast comp, it's a brawl comp, a short range comp, right? So in that instance, all you guys need to do, your plan needs to be just spam them and keep them at a distance. Now they might go to point, get a tick or two, not a big deal. You're just gonna keep spamming and spamming and spamming, and then eventually they'll get low, and then you go from there. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hook on Moira.
Moira Discord.
Moira in a fade.
Now this obviously we won't go into details. This is, I mean, do you see where the Mercy dies? She dies right here, right? So we don't have to go into micro or details, but how close is this to the enemy team? Very close. So the thing is we don't have to overanalyze this. You died because you were too close. That's it. GG can go next. Like, however that happened, unfortunate. Don't make the mistake again in the future, and we don't worry about it.
Sorry, Discord.
But the longer this team, like, do you see how the longer this team stays at range, they're losing? Like, I don't even want you guys to think necessarily fast versus slow. Just think the longer that you play in your range, which is long range, you're gonna win.
Junk Discord.
On call targets.
Junk
Joker Discord still.
Oh. Here, watch it. Lucio.
So I probably wouldn't drop here. I know this is more of a micro thing, but you know, there's no, they're not capping point, and you're fine.
Lucio's
So I wouldn't
really
worry
far
about
up.
it.
That's true. I think the hog died, and I was like, oh, I gotta drop.
Yeah, you got a little nervous for sure. But did you see how like a lot of their kills are just coming in short range, short range. Maybe the Junkrat kill, I'm not sure where that was, but mostly all short range kills that you guys are handing them when you just need to be a little bit more patient and play your distance. Okay, so you know, unfortunate, we didn't quite play our ranges early. Losing your Mercy first is obviously like probably the worst thing that can happen because everybody else is resable. But you know what? No big deal. We got a couple kills, and now we have a perfect snapshot, right? You have a perfect snapshot because what do we know now? What can we do going into the next fight?
Plan around their comp.
Exactly. Now you guys, don't let anybody talk down to you. You guys are plats suck. No, plats are above average. Every single one of you guys is an above average player, and you're functioning in a scrim environment, which puts you another step above. Not only that, but you each and every single one of you described to me perfectly how you should beat this comp. Range, spam. You guys said it. Like, you guys knew the answers, right? So
Yeah.
There's no excuse for next fight if you go out and you do something really stupid with your plan, right? There's no excuse. Not lack of knowledge anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think we should do next fight? Because we're getting maybe close to Echo Ultimate. It's gonna be a little rough. What do you guys think we should do? We know how we beat that comp, so now we just have to think about the map and decide what we're gonna do.
Well, we should probably be playing Green Room and then like build ult from there.
Okay.
And let them take longer to cross open space.
Sure.
Never stand them out.
Sure, exactly. Take longer angles, take space. Now, obviously, King's Row second. It's pretty short, tight. It's pretty clumped up, right? So, what's something that you can do when you have something that's really clumped up? Can you guys all play along sightlines? Not really, but let's think. For example, what could your Echo do?
Flank.
Yeah, she could flank. She could flank and use the high ground, right? Maybe flank behind them. Heck, even your McCree could flank. Basically, like high grounds, you take flanks, you try and take long sight lines, whatever. And you try and make sure that you guys are all doing something at the same time. Now, what I would like you guys to do is say, guys, we're going to take high grounds, we're going to take long sight lines, and we're going to make sure that we're all doing things together. So what I want one of you guys to do is take priority. Okay, you guys ready to start pressuring? All right, we're going to peek in 3, 2, 1. Your flank starts to shoot from behind, right? What do you want happening when your Echo starts shooting from behind? What should your Zen be doing?
Breaking shield?
Shooting shield, sure. What should your Kree be doing?
Shooting?
Yeah, shooting. I mean, you get the idea. It doesn't. I'm giving you a hard time, but yeah, it doesn't matter. But you need to be doing something. Shooting shield. Shooting from another angle. Clearing high ground. It doesn't matter. You guys can sort out the details. We're not going to get into specifics, but yeah, exactly. Doing something all at the same time. So what we're going to see here is number one, if you guys set up properly where you're going, right? Do you even have a plan? And then obviously, what else are we going to look at if we're all doing it at the same time? Correct? And that's all that we look at. So right now, we should be, okay, what ults do we think they might have? And then what do we want to do? So this is a crucial part of the fight. This is how you win next fight, is what happens right now. So we're going to listen and see how much talking happens here. Not just talking, but planning.
Sorry, Discord.
Okay, here it comes. Here comes the planning. Well, there came some lip rolls there, so that was good. That's really.
That guy's got to call a target. DPS too.
We gotta call a target. Okay, well that's not wrong. Okay.
Here we have good spawns. Let's just hold library.
Okay, they're gonna be closest to.
Oh, now we're ult tracking. Good. That's good. That's good. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little short analogy. Okay. There's smoke in the house. Okay, you smell the smoke. But you're gonna finish microwaving your TV dinner, okay? And the smoke is like pouring into your room, and then you're gonna kind of be like, man, I can't watch TV. The smoke's getting in the way, and it's like starting to get your eyes. You're like, man, I'm gonna wash out my eyes real quick, and then you go, oh wow, these are open flames bursting through the the sink right now. Maybe you know what? I'm gonna call 911. I'm just gonna do it. Like it's a little late. Do you think? What you think? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you could honestly, you could just not ult check at all. That would be worse. I'll give you credit for that. But yeah, but you guys are talking about like, let's just hold library. But stop. Is that really what you want? Maybe one of you, right? But is that really what you want? And I don't think like, and don't think about it too hard. But I don't think if any of you guys like really thought about this matchup that you think that everybody, 6 people, if 6 people hold library, I don't think that's going to go very well for you guys. So to me, I think this is a symptom of not a lot of urgency with thinking about what's next. Am I correct, or is it just you guys just didn't know?
You're correct.
Okay.
That's right.
So, because you guys are smart, we've already diagnosed that you guys know the answers. It's not like you guys have the wrong ideas. You guys have right ideas. It's just it's not happening. And I can already tell this next fight is not going to go particularly well unless one of you guys pops off. You're not setting yourself up for success right now. I don't see any you're all chunking like going library and you're ult tracking, right? But the fight's about to start and you don't even know what you're going to do, because remember, ult tracking is only as useful as the decisions it makes you make as a result. In other words, you ult track. Why do you ult track?
To plan around.
To
plan around their ult.
Exactly. Now you can't you can ult track 4 or 5 different ultimates, and you're like, man, I don't even know how to plan around all this, and that's okay. Sometimes I even when I'm working with main sports, I'm like, just track with the really really big ones, and then you don't worry about the rest. So you guys might be like, okay, they have coalescence, all right, so they might just rush out with coalescence, so we need to be playing it a little extra safe here, right? Well, okay. Like it's kind of too late to act on that information because you've already kind of committed to both playing and low ground, all clumped up. So do you see the problem here?
Yeah.
And we haven't even started the fight yet. So we'll watch.
Maybe Moira.
Okay. Maybe Moira, sure.
They're coming now.
My Discord?
Yeah. Do you see the problem there? Like, this is 5 people of the enemy team. There's one of them pushing cart, and you still almost instantly died.
Hook on Zar,
Discord.
Zar in house.
So huge kill. They push out a little too far. 5-man up, and you guys managed to spam them out enough. So good.
Shield, he has shatter soon.
More in a fade.
But do you think about how much easier this would have been if one of you guys had thought maybe we should some of us should go high ground, right? Maybe you see this up. Do you guys see my mouse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe somebody peeks out up here. Maybe your echo goes for a flank all the way. Maybe she is doing that. I don't know. But that's the key. I don't know. If I don't know, you don't know, right? Because the echo might make that decision, but if the team doesn't know, then your team's not going to play around it. Maybe you're still flanking and your team doesn't know. So there needs to be a game plan. And even if it's a little hard with ultimates, there needs to be something. Okay, well, some of us go high ground, guys. All right, let's take long angles here, but it's not happening right now.
Run.
Right, up. Hook on Zar.
Nice. Huge.
Reaper in library.
Nice job.
Lucio's up.
Okay, brilliant. Nice job.
I'll track plan.
Okay, actually, I'm gonna rephrase it. Brilliant execution, abominable setup. Like you're like an Olympic gymnast that tripped and fell flat in her face and then did a triple backflip somehow, immediately afterwards. That's not physically. I don't know how. It's not even physically possible, and yet you managed to make it work. So I guess kudos on breaking the laws of physics, but it does. I'm not gonna give you a thumbs up on this one. Okay, so what should be happening right now? Fight's over. What happens?
Ult track.
And trust me, it doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. You don't have to get every ultimate. Nobody's asking the moon. Just do the basics. So let's listen. Is it gonna happen?
I'll track plan.
Hey, listen. What was that? Can we hear that again?
Lucio's
It's like
Music here, but that was Magna.
Wait. Old track plan. Some people like Tchaikovsky, Bach, Beethoven. I just like old track plan, man. That's way more pretty. Okay, that's great. Could have been a couple seconds faster, and we hopefully shouldn't always need a reminder. I mean, you need a reminder sometimes. I mean, half time I have to remind myself to, put on pants. So I don't blame you, but but still, like, this is good. Okay, let's see what we got here.
They're gonna have junk.
Okay, so this is concerning. So what I want you guys to turn psychologist on me. When did who is ult tracking? What position do you play?
Gem.
That's me. I'm flex support.
Okay, so flex support. So, ladies and gentlemen, when did your flex support start tracking ultimates? Right
They're gonna...
now. When should your flex support start ult tracking?
At the end of the fight.
The fight is over.
Right as soon as the fight's ending. You should already. Do you need to be talking then? Not necessarily. Maybe people are still calling like finishing off targets, but you should already start thinking about what's next. Now that's generally why people have main supports ult track. But obviously you guys have a really good flex support ult tracker, so go with that. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Do it. But it needs to start happening sooner because right now you're thinking. You should not be thinking. You should be speaking. The thinking should already be done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like you don't. It's like trying to add up numbers in your head on a math problem when you just be spitting out the numbers, right? So like right now you should already we should just be like, okay, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should already know in your head. Okay, so it's a little more efficient than what we have.
We're gonna have junk, mercy, and shatter.
Okay. I'm gonna play cart.
Junk, mercy, and shatter. Okay, do they have a mercy?
Can we start with Val?
That's quite a skill. Look at that, guys. How do they do that? They can use a Val. Yeah, it's okay. It's mix-up characters. I knew what you meant. It's probably coalescence. No big deal. Okay.
Don't ask why I'm playing on cart. I have no idea.
I don't know either. But here's the thing though. You guys make good decisions when you're thinking. You just need to get in the habit of thinking. So I'm gonna go to a cap frame. Right?
Goes up.
Where is it? Please. Tab.
I'll check when.
I swear I saw tab. No.
This goes up.
Please.
Come for a second.
Wait,
Sorry.
I'll check when.
No, it's okay. I mean, you're doing it for yourself, not for me. So I'm trying to piggyback along. Okay. So let's say the ult tracking is accurate, and it's probably fine. Moira and Shatter and Junk, those are all big ultimates you got to worry about. Okay. Now we already talked about that you guys aren't thinking about your general positioning. Okay. But I'm gonna make it I promise, one more step more complicated. Only one more step. All right. Positioning depends on what your plan is, and your plan depends on what ultimates you have. So I want you to look at the situation right here. What ultimate, is there a situation where you guys might not want to go high ground depending on your ultimates with your car?
If we dupe Ryan?
Yeah, you could duplicate Ryan and just like go hard in and just build Shatter. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily the best plan that you could have, but do you see how like it might depend on your ultimates and what you want to do with it? You see?
Yes.
So yeah, it depends. So what I would like you guys to do is as quickly as you can, do that ult tracking, and then instantly go to your ultimates. Now, ultimates aren't the only things that you should be planning around, but generally they're the biggest things, right? Like you could plan around, hey, let's go for a flash pin. Maybe you have a Reinhardt and you don't have any ults, so you want to go for like a flashbang Reinhardt pin. Maybe you want to go for like a, you guys have no ultimate, so your Hog, Kree, and Echo Mercy are gonna like legit hard flank behind and go kill the backline. But there's a lot of things that you can plan around that aren't ultimates, but those are the big ones. So looking at the comp. You've ult tracked a little bit with the Junk, with the Moira, with the Shatter. What do you guys think would be a good plan here?
Take the high ground.
Okay, and then what?
And then set up so when they're pushing down where the cart is, we almost have high noon. Yep. We could try to do Echo duplicate Rhine.
Sure.
While they're distracted with that.
Just high noon.
McCree would maybe get his high noon,
sure.
And then would have that full corridor to
sure.
high noon them.
Yeah, so what you've described is like in a lot of words is basically you're just gonna take high ground, Echo dupe, high noon from high ground. Right? Is that particularly complicated? No, you want plans to be simple. You do not want plans to be complicated because things change. They might do something really weird and you'll have to adjust. And it's like can you imagine if like to pull the emergency brake on your car, you had to like type in a 4-digit code. You don't want to have to be doing that, right? You want something very simple. So if something weird or bad or even good happens, you guys are all on the same page, no big complications. So what you've described to me is a really good plan. That plan is great. You guys are brilliant. Why are you stuck in plat? Why aren't you like top 500? Okay. So like at this point in time, all you guys have to do is just go high ground and execute off that plan. Now, what we're going to see here is obviously number one, are you going to do that plan in particular? Probably not. But that's okay. That's not like that's the only plan. But the big question is, are you going to do a plan at all? And if so, is it going to be a plan that makes sense? And so that's what we're waiting on right here. So let's finish the ult tracking. Let's listen.
They're gonna have Junk, Mercy, and Shatter.
Okay.
I'm gonna play cart.
We start with Valk, and then Dupe.
Actually,
Okay,
I'll back
yeah.
up. I'll back up. Just play library.
Okay, I'm gonna let them push you guys, and then I'm gonna dupe.
Okay. I mean, is that an okay plan?
It's an alright plan.
It's not bad. Yeah, it makes sense. We're going to start with Valk and look for dupe at some point in time. Now, what's the major issue? Not necessarily with the words that you said, but with the way things are set up right now.
We don't know where we're playing. We
Right.
just know what we're doing.
Right. We don't know where we're playing, and I would say that where you're playing is not very good. I think you would want somebody more on high ground if possible. So yeah.
Okay.
You want to Valk here?
Oh, they might be going left side.
Yes. Yeah, they're going left. They're going left.
So this is obviously another situation where, hey, high ground would be really useful here. If obviously maybe you can leave your Sigma like here, or your Hog can play here, or whatever, just some form of frontal pressure that plays really safe. But the high ground would be really helpful here. You know, this Valk, you know, you could be damage boosting your Kree and your Echo on high ground. You could obviously a dupe from behind. If you pick, heck, you could pick even a Moira and copy Moira from mine, or Orion and just pin in from this angle, and like you'd have a great angle, and then they push out into a flank high noon. Like there's a lot of things that would be going well. Heck, you could have on the left side McCree on the left side on high ground. But there's a lot of things that could be doing well here if you guys had better positioning. So most teams that I critique are like GM level teams that have good positioning but have awful plans or don't even plan properly. You guys are the flip of this. You guys are putting in the effort, at least this fight, you've put in the effort of having a good plan, right? But what's missing?
The positioning.
The positioning. You guys aren't thinking about how you need to be playing into this comp at all. Again, you don't make it complicated. It needs to be basic, long sight lines, take angles, but you're not getting the basics. And so that's concerning. So let's see how this plan works out. I have hopes, though, that I'm happy that you guys actually have a plan, though. That is 1 out of 2.
Run Discord.
3, 2, 1. I'm copying.
On push.
Accidentally ulted. Ryan up. We're in a fade half.
All weak. Lucy one.
Cancel it.
Okay, we're up.
Push.
Yeah.
Push.
Reaper right side on our sig.
Reaper Discord.
Okay.
Alright, cool.
So you guys end up having to use a lot more ultimates than you would have liked, and obviously your Sigma was a little sketch there. You were like that. You get grabbed, and I'm like, man, you should just die. You're too close. And there wasn't enough pressure on their backline, but they struggled to finish the kill, and so it worked out. So you can see how like this could have gone a lot better, but you know what? The plan worked. The Valk got good value, got a good. I think what you got a res off, right? Did you? No, you didn't.
I don't know.
Yeah, you did. You got a res on the Hog. Got a nice that might not have been possible without Valk. Obviously, I'm sure the damage boost contributed a lot there. Who did you copy? Do you remember? Reaper. Obviously, a Reaper is a great copy. You know, you can go in hyper aggressive, and you know you don't even care about wasting Wraith because you're not gonna die. And obviously, Death Blossom is really annoying. So like, yeah, Reaper's a good copy. And there you go. You just win the fight. So
There's left side.
Okay. Now, what needs to be happening again? Like right now, instantly, right? And the ult tracking, like if we're honest here, should have started right about now. Like as soon as that Lucio dies, it's GG's. They're done. They're clearly done, right? So you kind of have to use your judgment. Don't start ult like thinking if the fight's still losable. But right now, you should already be thinking, okay, I like to go tanks, DPS, supports. Okay, what tank ults do they have? Okay, did they use Shatter? Did they use Grab? Okay, they used Grab. They didn't use Shatter. Okay, DPS. Did they use Reaper or I don't know what they got? Kree? Is it Kree or Reaper? I can't even remember. You can tell how much I'm paying attention. The Reaper, right? They don't have it. They've used Tyre, but they didn't use Reaper. Okay, and then Moira, they didn't use Moira for whatever reason. They didn't use. So they've got maybe both support ultimates. Maybe they use Cole. I don't remember, but whatever. Like you get a good idea just breaking down the line. And then what immediately happens afterwards? Of course.
Planning.
Exactly.
Alright, cool.
Zarya's left side.
Hustle.
Alright, I got out.
Here, I'm back up to library.
Okay, they're gonna have Cole beat.
You're gonna drop your shield for me? Like,
Listen,
it's honestly, it's actually kind of ornamental. It's really pretty. It's like, you know what, guys?
beautiful
Look
over
at
there. I
that
kind of
shield.
like wanted to keep it.
It's pretty. It matches this coloring right over here. It's like color coded. Look at that. It's that.
What a beautiful contrast.
I'm really impressed. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Blossom and
I
wait,
picked
they
it
didn't
up
use Shatter, did
eventually,
they?
I think.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Good checking. Good checking. Okay, so we're just gonna stop right there because we got a nice little freeze frame here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the repetitions come in. So you know the routine now. What do we do?
Make our plan.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So what's the plan?
Oh, I was muted.
It's okay. We didn't miss you. No, I'm just kidding.
Bro.
Wow.
Sorry. Let me clarify. I didn't miss you. I can't speak for everybody else. What's the plan here?
We should have taken the high ground, and we should have waited for them to push in through the choke, and then while they're all clumped up, we should use Flux.
Sure. What's Flux gonna force?
Beat.
Probably.
Yeah, and then you're just gonna have to sustain, keep playing high grounds, right? If anything really sketch or bad happens, you got trance in the back foot because grav has already been used. Okay, so
I remember what happens.
So this is a great plan. You can use. Why are you going high ground with Flux? Again, I want to clarify this point. Why?
better angle.
Yeah.
That way you're not in front of them and dying.
Yeah, better.
Yeah, you could hide.
Better angles, like they can't reach you, just like what they did to your Sigma last fight. That was really scary. That shouldn't have been that easy. They have to. It makes it harder for them to reach you, right? Now, obviously they can push cart, but while they're pushing cart, they're getting damaged, and then you can drop and stop cart once you've damaged them enough, right? That's the goal. So yeah, again, good plan. Let's see if this is what we do plan, and then more importantly, do we even have a plan at all? All right, here we go.
They're gonna beat your Flux, so play around that.
Yep. We just save transfer.
I'm just loving that shield. Like,
Listen, I think I'm in another world right now.
I'm just embracing the shield right now.
The death loss.
This is great.
Flux after.
Let's
Or
just
before.
like, can we
Yeah, I
count
think
how
there might
long
be
I'm
that
gonna
much
keep it there?
Oh, I'm planning on it.
I'm gonna pick it up when I fucking start the fight.
Yeah, wait, where is it?
Reaper Mush.
Oh no! I'm just gonna. Okay, listen.
Stop.
I know this is educational, but listen. The heart learns when it's happy, and my heart is very happy right now. It's still there.
That's on Ryan.
You
Ryan,
still haven't recalled it.
put it in. Star.
Did you just forget that you had the shield?
Time.
Oh, it's still soon.
Oh my gosh!
I don't even know how I didn't do that.
I don't understand. Like
Do you ever see this in your masters?
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, oh jeez. Okay, well, let's try and focus as much as you can. This is like trying to focus and there's like a clown dancing in front of you. It's really hard. Okay, what was the plan here? I want to listen.
They're gonna beat your Flux, so play around that.
All right.
Wait, is my quality that bad?
We just save
Seriously?
transfer.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
Wait, is it actually?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This costs like $120. HyperX who?
Are you using the mic though? Is it Discord like actually?
I'm using a headset mic.
No, it's because my metal settings are really fucked up, and so my mic is incredibly quiet because I recorded it with metal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still trying to get it fixed.
I mean,
it still is kind of poopy.
it sounds like it does in the recording, to be perfectly honest. So I think you might want to check your Discord settings to make sure it's using the proper thing. But yeah.
Describe an Audio Technica 2020 like me.
Yeah.
Spend $100 on that shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Nah, I need that for Genshin.
Oh gosh, never mind.
Okay, dude.
$400, by the way.
We're gonna keep going.
For the death loss and then Flux after.
Wait. Sorry, what was the plan?
Save transfer the death loss and then Flux after. Or before. I think there might be that.
Okay, so this is actually a really important plan. Not plan, but a really important learning moment. So what was your planning there? It was
it to bait out Blossom?
Yeah, exactly. It was bait out Blossom, you trance it, and then you Flux afterwards. Okay, but what's the problem with that plan? And this is really, really important with Overwatch.
Or still beat.
Okay.
Waiting for them to make the first move instead of us doing it first.
Exactly. And it's not even about going first or last. It's about actually because your entire plan revolves around them doing something that you hope that they're going to do. But you have no idea if that's what they're going to do. They don't even have to. They have other ultimates that they can use. So how do you bait Blossom? Do you just kind of like everybody groups up and like pretends to not notice the Reaper and like hope that he do you guys like all like type in match chat, please death Blossom? Like I don't. How do you bait Blossom? So like to me, the flaw of the plan isn't necessarily we want to go first. It's the fact that your entire plan revolves around hoping that they do something. It doesn't work. You want a plan that, hey, we'll force them to do this because they're going to have to, otherwise they're going to lose. So to me, going high ground, okay, your plan needs to be, we go high ground and we can spam, right? We can also flux, but you need to go high ground and spam. That will force the Death Blossom. Because if you go high ground and you're shooting them from multiple different angles, then they're going to need to do something because they can't just stand there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the problem here is that your plan is all revolving around them doing something very, very specific and arguably very niche that why would they do that? Like, there's no guarantee. So I want you guys with your plans to be like, guys, we're going to do this. If they do this, we can do this. You see what I'm saying? Like there's nothing wrong with saving transfer Death Blossom. I don't think that's a necessary ultimate to counter, but sure, you can save transfer Death Blossom, but you don't, that's not your game plan. Your game plan is, guys, we're going to take angles and spam, and we'll trans if they do this. Or we're going to take angles and flux, and if they do this, we'll do this. You kind of see what I'm saying? All right.
Should.
Because like right now, like you guys aren't set up at all.
Sorry, Discord.
Like,
Ryan Discord.
You're just
Ryan
standing
Discord
on
it
main.
in.
Sorry.
Hold your left. I need heals.
Here,
Mercy.
we're down 3.
Okay, we need to kite sooner.
Okay, that was nice of them to beat, but did you see how nothing happened? Like you guys are just kind of waiting for them. Like, please, Death Blossom, we want a trance. Like please, our plan doesn't work if you guys don't.
They beat it. That's fine. Just die quick. Figure it out.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, we have free flux next fight.
Okay, they're gonna have Blossom Shatter.
Okay.
They have Soldier now.
Okay. Blossom
They
Shatter.
have Soldier now.
All right, what do we have for ultimates? I missed it. Hang on here. Okay, I mean, hey, guess what? They have Blossom Shatter, but you're coming back with your ultimates. Okay, so what's the plan now?
To flux.
Yeah, flux. Free flux. Free flux. You want to try and hard spam these guys during the flux, and if you need to, you trance. Is that a decent plan?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little rough because they're going to have position and they're going to be like hiding behind corners and crap, and fluxing, they might just bubble it, you don't know. It's going to be a pain in the neck. But you know what? It's something, and it's a plan that you're not waiting on them to do something with. Okay, so let's see how we go.
They have Soldier now.
Excuse me.
Yeah, start flux and then trance the Death Blossom.
Sure.
Come to this corner. Sure.
Their ornamental shield. It's beautiful.
Okay, yeah, start walking.
Okay, let's go. Let's initiate with flux.
Go.
Go with flux. I got
I
crashed off.
missed. Listen.
Okay, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Oops. Whoops.
I got grabbed off.
Yeah, the trance is a little late as well, and then you guys got grabbed off the point. I think it's important as well. No, I'm not going to say anything. I was going to say something about, you don't necessarily have to, hey, we only trance Death Blossom. You just trance if you need it. I think it gives your Zen a little bit more flexibility, but I understand, why you would want to. Okay. Unfortunate. Not a big deal.
That's Blossom out of them.
Maybe still winnable?
Here,
Maybe.
Right half.
There's low.
Play the corner. You're fine.
By the way, for a plat team, your mid-fight calls are pretty good. I like that you guys are like, hey, play the corners, keep calling targets. That kind of stuff is big stuff. Keep yourself focused in the game, because it's very easy in that situation right there to be like, oh, we lost, just shut down, GG's. But this fight's still winnable. You see what I'm saying? You just got to kill, keep yourself focused in there. You might kill the Reinhardt, and then you guys can take positions, and then it's going to be really, really good. So yeah, you lost a point, but keep yourself focused in the game. And it seems like you guys do a pretty good job of that.
Okay, I have copy. If I need to use it, I will.
We don't need to keep backing.
And by the way, I think Echo Ultimate's one of those ultimates that you don't want to plan around all the time. But if you only have Echo Ultimate, I want you to plan around it. You see what I'm saying? So you're like, I have copy. If I need to, I'll use it. I'm a little bit more urgent than you are. And I would recommend you do. I would be like, hey, we only have copy. Hey guys, let's take, I'm gonna go really aggressive and spam really, really hard. I need you guys to push a little bit, and then I'm gonna copy Ryan or Reaper, and I need you guys to go in with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you guys just waiting for something to happen, right? Because yeah, you could play long spam sightlines here, but it might be kind of tough to do so, and it's your only ultimate. Like what's stopping their Moira from just like using Cole right now and just going in? You know, I would rather you guys like don't wait. Just use an ultimate if you got it.
Copy. If I need.
The only thing I would recommend you to maybe wait for is maybe you wait for your Sigma to come back, right? So you guys can fight as 6. But I would, if you can, if it's the only ultimate you have, make something work around it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. If I need to use it, I will.
We don't need to keep backing. I don't think.
We have 6.
Yeah, see, this is not good. You see what? Okay. Again, for a brief moment, let's bring back in like the positional plan. What should be your plan? Screw the Echo Ultimate for just a second. What should be your plan to beat this comp?
To hold that corner, that first.
What
corner.
else? What was our key on second? What was our key on first? What needs to be our key to winning on third?
High ground.
Range.
Yes, range and high ground. Exactly. Both of those things. If you can get somebody at your Echo Mercy up here, if you can get your Hog in like here with your McCree maybe and your Zen, you know, your Sigma can play this corner and spam and just like kind of back up. But you need, it doesn't, again, I don't, you guys will, it's going to be trial and error. You're going to try different spots that'll work and other spots that won't. And hey, okay, we didn't think about that. And, you know, they were running a Sombra, or, you know, our Sigma was by himself, so he got hacked. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong, but you guys are turning your brains off right now. I can see it slowly. We're just going to slowly clump up in a corner and just press mouse 1 and hope something happens. Don't. How do you beat this comp? It doesn't have to be complicated, but you guys know it. You guys are telling me right now. You guys told me on first, you guys told me in second, and now on third, you're throwing in the dumpster. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Reaper's left side, Mega.
Ryan's up.
Nice.
Ryan just going.
No.
You can see, even though you got an initial pick, how close are you to the enemy team?
Very.
Do you have
close.
any angles or any high ground control at all?
No.
No.
So how many people is that man going to shatter?
All of us.
All of you are shattered. All of you are going to be cold. All of you are going to be death blossomed. You know, Ryan can shield all 6 of you just by pressing right click. You know, he can't, there's no angles that he can't block. Like, that's the problem, right? And then if Ryan swings, he hits 3 of you. He doesn't hit 1 or 0. He hits 3 or 4, you know? And if he fire strikes, he's going to be smashing right through. Like every single one of their things is stronger in one direction. That's like just kind of how Brawl generally works. You guys like angles. You guys like high ground. You know that. You had an Echo Ultimate, and you didn't take angles. So
yeah, Ryan's
you
flat.
guys probably lose this here. Oh, copy. Never mind.
Sorry, just going.
You're just sniping people.
Sorry.
Maybe not.
Turn around.
They're gonna have Visor, Cole. They have a Doomfist now.
Going out to touch. They're pushing Zara right side. That's health.
Nice.
I'm dead.
Fortunate.
Kill Zara.
Maybe winnable.
I'm on Visor.
Oh.
Alright. Ryan on point.
Needs to be Reiner. Sorry, eternally. Okay, so unfortunate.
I should faster one of their.
Okay, so unfortunate, not a big deal. Like the last kind of stagger fight, things are going to be messy. Don't worry about it too much. Just get like, hey guys, what are we doing? Who are we pushing? Like that kind of stuff is important. Don't worry about like, all right guys, stop. We need to take high ground and clear angles, and then we need to ult track. You know, don't worry about that. It's kind of chaotic, you know. Okay. So like you guys tell me, you guys coach me. What are the issues, major issues that you guys are seeing that need to be addressed? Simply as put as you can.
And soon enough.
Okay. What else?
There's all this dead space in between fights where we're just wasting it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What else? That's one. So we need to be more efficient with like our communication cycle. What's another one?
We need to recognize the advantage that we have over other comps.
Yeah, like just basically what do we want to do? You don't get into the details of playing Zen versus Ana or Echo versus, you know, Hanzo. Just we're a spammier comp, they're a brawlier comp. Let's try and play high ground and angles. And what I would recommend you guys do is like, do you guys play a lot of different comps or do you generally play more spammy comps?
We play multiple.
Okay, so what I would recommend you guys doing then is with each comp that you play is just have it like take like 10-15 minutes and sit down and talk about how you play into different comps. Because really, there's not many matchups you have to worry about. Okay, how do we play spam into brawl? How do we spam into dive? How do we play brawl into spam, brawl into dive, dive into spam, dive into brawl? And that's basically it. And there's a million different hybrids and things like that, but at least get a general idea. And then when you go into scrims, practice talking about it. Like after first fight, let's say you win or lose first fight, or even as soon as you see they're on the comp. All right, guys, they're on brawl. We need to remember we're playing dive into brawl. We have to like play to avoid damage, then like decisively get to the back line, not the front line, right? Like that's a very, very basic way of looking at dive. But just have an idea, having a plan, and then stick to it and see how it goes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the second thing. So the first one was being a little bit inefficient. The second one was not really thinking about how your comp beats theirs. And then we were okay at this, but we need to be better about. Remember what was the thing with the Reaper ult? You guys remember that? What was the thing with the Reaper ult?
We're trying to bait it.
He's transgenerally, and more generally than more specific.
Right. I want you to be more specific, less general. Don't wait for. Don't have a plan of countering their plan. You can have ultimates or cooldown saved, like you would save Lamp for that, or save Trance for this, or your Sigma will save Shift for Pulse Bomb, whatever. But when it comes to the overarching plan, you decide what you want to do and make them deal with it. Whether that's how you set up, what ultimate you use, whatever. Okay, does that make sense? Do you guys have any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll do a little bit more of this attack, probably another 10, 15 more minutes, and then I want to get to the Q&A so you guys can kind of like hash it all out. All right, let's roll. Is it a similar comp? What do we got here?
Just like you can.
We can get much value.
Yeah. Let's get off Mercy. Let's go BAP.
Okay, BAP.
Hog Orion.
Yeah, just go Hog. Monkey and just sort of like trying to buy us time. Just like just play safe.
So here's one thing I would recommend. And this is going to be hard to hear, but I want you guys to stick with it. So I don't know what comp you're going to roll out on, but there's a couple of red flags being raised right now. You, especially when you're like lower tier and still trying to like figure out the game and like how to work together and stuff like that, I think the worst thing that you can do is play mystery heroes, in the spawn room. I think you look at how that fight went, you're like, man, we should have done better there. So you either play a comp that you're already familiar with, you play the same comp and just figure it out, or you swap up entirely, but you swap to a comp that actually like cohesively makes sense. You see what I'm saying? So if you guys like playing, like, listen, if you want to play Winston with the spam, be my guest. Totally fine. It's weird, but it can work. But what I don't want you guys to do is, let's try Winston with spam now. Okay, let's try Roadhog with spam. Okay, let's try Zarya with spam. Oh, you know what? Let's do ball. Okay, let's do ball with a dive. Okay, let's try spam with a Genji. And then what ends up happening is you spend so much time thinking about what hero you should pick that you forget to actually focus on the really important stuff, and it becomes more of it's like a crossword puzzle than it is an Overwatch game. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this happens in ranked all the time. You get like this DPS player, he's on Junkrat, and his junk gets countered, so he gives up and he goes to Genji. But then before he even builds a blade, they go Echo Pharah, and so he goes McCree, and he never builds an ultimate the entire defense, and you get rolled. It's like you don't want to do that. You want to like kind of have a reason, play a hero that you're good at, obviously first, or that you enjoy playing, and then try and make something happen. Like work, like find a solution around what you have. I'm not saying don't swap, but like have a very good reason for you to swap. And if you can, at all possible, adjust your playstyle. Don't adjust your hero. I think that's a better way of learning the game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Just be very careful with how much you do swap, because it can be a bad habit. It's like constantly shifting the blame onto like what you're playing, and it takes some of the fun out of it, in my opinion. But I mean, it's up to you guys. Like playing different comps is fine, but just like make sure there's a reason why you're playing the comp. It's not just like random heroes that you're picking and hopefully something happens.
All right, Mercy, Soldier up top right now.
Okay, what do we got?
Oh, hotel.
All right, they have a Zarya.
Yeah, let's go hotel.
Hopefully we get a tab. I see Sigma. I see Kree. And again, I understand if not, because it's not like okay, brilliant. Okay, now I like this. Is this different from your defense composition?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Just one hero.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, but it's still spam, right? It's still again, what distance are we talking here?
Long.
Medium to long.
Yeah, medium to long, exactly. Medium to long, spam, right? So against most comps, you're gonna want to be playing longer range, shoot them. Don't worry about like slow or fast, just long range shoot them. You can play fast if it's at a long range. You'll bust their shields real fast, right? If it's at a long range. You don't want to get brawled. So as quickly as you can, you need to figure out like what type of comp they're playing, and then we'll make a plan around that. And obviously, you're gonna have to make a quote unquote plan as soon as you see their comp. So it's not going to be a very detailed plan. It might be, guys, all right, guys, just spam them out, take angles, right? That's a good enough plan to start.
Just need to all first share.
Soldier, Junkrat, Zarya.
Keep going.
There's a Moira here. They're all here. They're here.
Uh-oh. What does that tell you? I hear Moira. I hear Reaper. I hear Zarya. You tell me.
Close range.
Yeah, what's the problem?
We're going to the hotel.
Yeah. This is kind of what they want you to do. This is not good. This is like saying, "Oh shoot, a snake! Come here, give it a hug." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, no. This is not where you want to be. I appreciate that you guys are kind of like all on the same page here, but that's like, all right, guys, we're all gonna jump off the cliff on 3, 2. I'm like, no, being on the same page is not good.
Well, I mean, Foggers is like, if you guys can all coordinate jumping off a cliff, I'll be happy. So.
See, that's good. That's good. At least you guys will do it together, right? Okay. Right. Yeah, this is problematic. And again, I don't want you guys to have the biggest thing I don't want you guys to do after this review is start like overthinking things. Like go into your next scrim and be like, all right, guys, well, they're in Junkrat, but there's a monkey, and then the Sigma. I think Sigma can be brawl and spam, and so that's kind of confusing. Just kind of get a general idea. Guys, do we want to play longer or shorter range than them? That's it. Longer or shorter range than them, and that's all you need to answer. You don't need to decide if they're brawl or dive or spam. Hey guys, do we do more damage when we're far away, or do they do more damage when they're closer? And that's it. Just figure that out. Because they could be playing Genji spam, and you guys are playing brawl with Reaper. It doesn't make them dive, This is problematic. If they had played it properly, they wouldn't have done anything. They would have let you stay in there and just spammed. And the second you walk out, you walk into a Reinhardt swinging in your face, but they didn't do it properly. So you guys are finding new and fun and unique ways of like breaking the laws of physics once again. The game just doesn't apply to you anymore, apparently. But you know what? I'm impressed. And here's the thing. This is a good opportunity to kind of take a moment to praise something that's even bigger than proper compositional philosophy. What was it? What did I say was the most important thing when it comes to improving your Overwatch game? You guys remember? The very first thing we talked about. To be a good Overwatch team, you have to have what?
Leader.
Yeah, communication and leadership. Exactly. What did you guys do that fight? Or
we had a plan.
You had a plan. You rotated inside a room and you lit them up. It's the stupidest plan I've ever heard of in my entire life. But you guys did it and were decisive about it. Meanwhile, their Reinhardt pushes him, but he's basically by himself. You see what I'm saying? And that goes predictably. So this right here is like okay, like you said, it's kind of like jumping off the cliff all at once. I guess it works, So the fight's not won yet, though.
Listen, I've already been roasted about this.
Okay, this is not a projectile. Just
It's on point.
Yeah, it's on point.
Okay. But it works. Wait, you guys. Oh, wait. Wait.
DB soldier top left, top right.
I spoke too soon.
I'm going.
I'm out.
Nice. Didn't even sweat. Okay. Nice job. Okay, so again, what's the plan here? I hate to sound like a broken record here, but what's the plan? Before I even look at ultimates, what's the plan?
Take space, like push up a bit, because I don't even know what ult we have or what.
Yeah, I don't know, but remember, we didn't really need all of our ultimates to have a general idea on defense. We don't need all of our ultimates to have a good idea on attack either. But we'll look at their comp. What do you think we should be doing with their comp?
Take angles.
Yeah, take angles. Get some people on.
Range.
Get some people long range. Get some people on high ground. Like that's why you want people on high ground. It's not just because high ground is some magical little land. Like sometimes people just go high ground is good, but why? It's good because it's hard to get to you, right? And in your comp, they don't really have anything to get to you unless they like TP or speed boost all the way around up high. So yeah, high grounds and angles. Now let's see what else we have.
Junk still top left. Okay, pushing up to library.
Hey, that's a nice little shield. Unironically, helping your Echo get up there and deal with the junk. Nice.
Trap up there. Watch out.
Okay.
Junk's up. All right, we're good.
Junk. Soldier.
Okay.
Make more space.
Rein. Zarya.
Okay. The problem with saying take more space is what? What is the problem with just that statement?
Too vague.
It's too vague. What kind of space do you guys want?
We want long sightlines.
Yeah. So how would you get that here? Would you want to just walk through choke kind of where your Kree is necessarily? It's not,
Not really,
terrible. It's not
no.
terrible. It's probably, as long as he keeps his distance, it's okay. But it's more important that you guys get somebody on high ground. Like that's, to me, that's the priority. And also, you also have to keep in mind that like I wouldn't even be talking super much about positioning until you guys knew what you were doing, right? Maybe you're gonna go for a flank high noon, in which case your McCree better get his cheeks in gear because he's super slow. But maybe you're not. Maybe you're just gonna take it straight up and just whole hog and high noon their shield and just not give a crap. In that case, maybe you don't need a lot of angles. Maybe just shoot shield. But you need to know what's happening. And you got about 5 seconds before I started to get angry.
Elaborate.
What's happening? Please. Please.
We'll never know.
I'm in tears. Oh no. Okay. Okay. It'll happen eventually. I know. Wait. Somebody said something.
Might look for hiding this fight.
Oh, click. That's helpful. I might use an ultimate this fight, guys. Maybe. I'm not sure. You guys might just have to guess. You see the problem here? All right.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have. Oh. Okay, let's.
Might look for hiding this fight.
No.
What's up?
All right, that's it.
I'm
down.
Might look for hiding this
quitting.
fight.
I'm cheating. Okay. Now, this is pretty rough, isn't it? What do you guys see? No. No. Okay. What did you guys see?
We only have Hoggle and we almost have High Noon.
You only had Hoggle and you almost had High Noon. So, ladies and gentlemen, just because you don't have many ultimates doesn't mean it's any less important to plan them. If anything, you can argue that it's more important because you only have 1 or 2 tools to win with, right? You don't have a plethora of things that, hey, we don't really have a plan, so we're just going to all press Q and it'll be fine because we have 5 Qs, right? You might lose because you need to win with High Noon, or you need to find a way to get whole hog value, and you're not talking about it. So you guys tell me, what's the plan here? What should be the plan if you guys weren't mute?
Should we have Hog go behind and Hoggle and then have our Kree high ground? Like the top left high ground?
You could, yeah.
And then have him high noon?
I mean, it's sure. Listen, I am very unlikely to critique a play. I think you just try it. I think, what's going to be fun, guys, is that when you put hustle into this and just try a bunch of random crap and see how it goes. Like, if I was a hog, I was playing goal hogging, I would have a blast. Just let's see if this works, It's stupid, but let's see if it works. And that's the kind of stuff you can do if you actually put hustle into this. Do a flank whole hog high noon. Have your high noon with your core and your whole hog behind and blow them into the high noon, Just see if it works, You got nothing to lose. And I guarantee you'll have a higher fight win percentage if you do stupid. I'm not recommending always to do stupid stuff, but trying stupid stuff, but actually having a game plan than just doing really conservative stuff, but not having a plan at all. That's the ironic thing is you do stupid stuff, but everybody knows what's going on and you're more likely to win. So let's see what happens. So good plan. Whole hog, flank, see what happens. High noon here. I don't know. Give it a shot.
Might look for high noon this fight.
Might look for an ultimate this fight. Thrilling. Thank you.
What's up?
We can go to the next corner.
Sure. Yeah, let's push the green.
Okay.
They're corner now.
Tire left side.
Can we lamp?
Nice.
Flash.
Huge.
I'm behind them.
Unfortunate.
I'm behind them.
What's the problem with this, though? Why did we lose this fight? Did you lose this fight to Rip Tire, really?
No.
No. What did you lose to?
Didn't have a plan.
You didn't have a plan. So where did you end up positioning?
Inside
all clumped up in a small little room, and guess what you died to? Zarya and Reinhardt swings, right? Now, obviously, the Rip Tire did a lot of damage and broke lamp and et cetera, but you think about that exact same situation, but you guys are on high ground or on an angle, or you're playing a little further back and baiting them to come closer, so your McCree flank is better, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of what ifs. There's at least a dozen different plays that you could have done better than what you did. So you guys just kind of lay down and died. You didn't put up any resistance whatsoever.
Okay, grab pull.
All right, here comes the tracking. Tracking needs to be faster. We're seeing it again here.
I should rotate it back.
Okay, grab pull.
Nice.
Grab, Cole, Mercy, Shatter, and Pfizer.
By the way, I will compliment you guys once. Only once though. I only have a couple of them. I spin them out quickly, you know. The fact that you guys consistently ult track and have like the whole ult plan call is really good. Like you guys should be very, very proud of that. It might not always feel like it helps a lot, but it's very impressive. I can tell you from a Contenders coach standpoint. Like you don't always see that. So like, well done. Pat yourself on the back.
We have
Whoa.
almost
Can we
everything.
scout where they are? Can we scout where they are?
Wow, I thought this was a roasting session.
Yeah.
I mean, listen,
Oh, no.
listen. I don't want to make anybody cry more so than you've already made me cry. So like, I know how badly it fights. So, okay, let's see if we actually have a plan this fight.
Shatter and
Tell you what, if you want another compliment, come up with a good plan this fight. All right, so we're gonna gamble. We're gonna gamble. Here we go.
Alright, we have almost
What if
Can we
everything.
scout where they are? Can we scout where they are?
Yeah,
Are they in that main or are they at the corner?
Okay, scouting.
I can check. Give me 1 second.
And by the way,
Okay.
like sometimes you might want to scout first before you plan. Like maybe you're like, okay, they're compositionally swapping. Maybe we need to wait till they swap. You know, maybe we all want to go high ground and be like, okay, they're below us. Okay, this would be a great flux. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not always saying like you need to be planning the second you leave the spawn room. Like, you need to know what you're doing. But something has to happen before you start fighting.
A cart.
Yeah, they're on card, the right side.
Okay.
Oh. What?
So there's your information. So let's see what happens.
Can you guys push main? I'm at high noon.
Hey.
You guys just push main.
Yeah,
I'm at
let's
high
push
noon.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, it's
Hey, are you pushing?
They're
Are
all
you
right
pushing?
side, all right side, all right side.
Ryan, focus right.
sorry, Discord.
Focus
Yeah,
right, focus
Ryan.
right, focus right.
Ryan, wait. More one. No more.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
Mercy.
Okay. Brilliant.
Scared.
Absolutely brilliant. You guys, can you push main? I want a high noon. Guess what? How many kills did the high noon get?
I didn't see it.
0.
Ryan.
Didn't get a single kill. But what did it make them do? Look what do you see right now?
It made them back.
Back
which
up.
was
Use shield.
good.
Bubbles.
Focus
Backing
right,
up.
focus right.
Sorry, Discord.
And guess what got you the kill in the Junkrat? What got you the kill in the Junkrat?
Hey, are you pushing?
The angle. The high ground in the angle got you a free kill. You high nooned, completely busted up shield, negated the like. They want to go now, right? But you're high nooning, so they can't go. So they have to just wait and take damage to the shield, take damage to the face. You're forcing cooldowns, and then by the time they actually brawl, shatter and grab, it's too late. They're already too low. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't stop this team from brawling you, but you can slow it down. And by the time they get to you, it's too late. And
All right
that's a
side,
perfect
all right
like.
side, all right
This
side.
feels super scary and chaotic, but look at how many people die on your end. Look at the top right.
Ryan, focus right.
Sorry, Discord.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Still nobody.
Focus
Yeah,
right, focus
Ryan.
right.
Nope. There's your immortality field. Great immortality field. Oh.
More one.
Oh.
No more.
Sketch.
Mercy.
Here, Moira.
And
Moira's up.
nobody dies. Look at that. Not a single person dies. Well done. Well done. Very nicely done. You guys took high ground, you guys took angles, and you had a specific plan. It was a little late, but it's okay. You needed to scout first, so it's understandable. Do you feel the difference between that fight and the last fight? If you would have told me that they're gonna use 2, or actually they use visor too. They're gonna use 1 ultimate and we're gonna lose, and then they're gonna use 3 ultimates, but we're gonna win, I wouldn't have believed you, right? But what's the difference between this fight and the previous fight?
We had a plan.
We had a plan. In fact, you can say, oh, well, we used ultimates too. But I mean, you used high noon, right? You used flux too, but at that point, the fight was already won. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, you just had a plan and you were positioned better. And it's just, the fight just accidentally wins. You don't even have to hit your shots. It just falls into your lap.
Moira's up.
I saw it coming. I saw it in the bottom left. I'm like, please step in it. You know, I'm sorry. You guys are gonna have to. If you guys ever get another coaching session, you're gonna have to make somebody else record so they get made fun of as well. Because your poor Sigma player is like, oh man, like what is this?
No, Celsius.
Listen,
Definitely not me.
It's
Mercy,
okay.
Mercy.
Let's see Magna.
I'm trying to catch Moira.
Okay.
Just
They're gonna have visor. They're gonna have junk. Did they use Valk yet
They
or no?
use visor, but it's okay.
I don't know.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. They're gonna. Okay, they're
I
definitely
think
gonna
I
have
told
both
her.
Okay, quick. What do we do?
Okay,
Actually, I'm gonna go to our ults really quick because I want us to cheat. I want us to try
Did they
and
use
see what we can do.
Valk yet or no?
Nope. Okay, what should we do? Because you guys are okay. What's really great about the end of second point in comparison to where you just took a fight? What was
It's really
More
hard to reach.
open.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
It's way more open, right? So again, forget fast and slow. It's just long range. Long range is good. Thumbs up. We like that. So that's good for your comp. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? You guys like positioning wise and then ultimate wise? What do you guys think?
Window. We're gonna window for sure.
Yeah.
We could. I mean, we could. Well. Yeah, we can hug the left corner and only have to peek a little bit.
Sure.
And then window.
Yeah, window from distance. There's also the high ground up. Like we'll see it in a second, but the high ground is really good there. You could look for a copy on like I don't know Ryan or Zarya or Junk or Soldier or whatever, and just see what happens. You can trans against really anything. Whole hog you can just use to like whole hog is kind of one of those ultimates. Like I'm sure you know, it's just kind of like you see an opportunity, you just use it, secure a kill, break Ryan shield. It's not really something you can plan around, but you have a lot of tools here, right? What I would like to see is like you said, definitely use window. Play your long range, and if you need to, trans or copy, right? So let's see what happens.
Yes.
I don't know.
They did.
But yeah, this high ground up top left is actually pretty good. It's a little scary if you're gonna get booped, but it's like I would want my Sigma playing high ground like this.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. They're gonna. Okay, they're
Start
definitely.
with window and okay, we start with window. Yep. We start with window and trance if they all. They're gonna touch.
Okay, so you're a little slow, but this is good. I like it. What's good about this? What was good about what just happened? You have a plan. You've ult tracked properly. The only bone to pick, I think your team position could be better here, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think you need both tanks on card. I think one tank on card to push it and play it really safe is probably good enough. Your Hog or Sigma could be playing high ground or even like another angle or a little further away, like anything better. But honestly, like so far so good, not too bad.
Probably need trance
I expect we probably win this fight.
Yeah, they're coming.
Like Ryan shield already busted.
I need heals.
Ryan.
Run.
Zar.
He built a visor fast.
Trance. Oh, you already used it. Never mind.
Zarya's in.
Holy cow. Okay, so you guys end up losing this one. Now,
I need heals.
in terms of execution, the plan wasn't great. What do you guys see wrong?
Trance here once they
Yeah,
touch.
We pushed above window and
you
really used
you
it.
pushed in front of window. The window was a little close, so like it enabled them to brawl with you a little bit more than you wanted to. Like ultimately, you want to make this like I don't know how to draw this, so just like use my mouse position. You want to like make the point a kill box that you have homing missiles shooting at from a million different angles. But you don't actually need to be on the blast zone to do damage there. You see what I'm saying? Like you guys don't have shotguns. You don't need to be getting up close to them. Sometimes it makes it easier to land your shots, but it's at the expense of them being able to hit you back. You don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to 1v1 a bulldog, and you've got like a big rubber hose, and then you just like drop. I don't know why you'd have a rubber hose fighting a bulldog. It's the first thing. Like I'm not sure why rubber hose is the first thing that popped up in my mind. So draw what conclusions as you will. But like,
Why are you playing a bulldog?
I don't know. There's a lot of problems here, but you guys chose to be like all up in their grill, and I think it was your Hog that demanded trance really fast. That's not great either, because now you blew trance on like essentially nothing. They didn't even use anything. When your Hog shouldn't have been that close, and now, what's the problem with Zen transing there? Because does Zen trans counter Riptire? No. But what do you miss when trance is being used?
The
damage
visor.
output from and Discord.
Yeah, there's no Discord, there's no damage. You're literally 5v6ing, essentially. So now that Reinhardt's barrier destroyed, and he's just kind of standing there like smiling and waving, nothing can kill him. So like, obviously the execution of this plan wasn't good. You guys didn't have very good off angles. At least not all of you did. You guys, tanks are playing way too aggressively, taking way too much damage. When you guys just needed to play it slow and patient, like force them to spam you out. And you could even see it with a Riptire here. Well, let me actually look here.
Ryan.
Trance. Oh, you already used it. Everyone's.
Like the fact that the Riptire essentially killed both off tanks is kind of a red flag, right? Like it means that you guys are probably too close together, and you guys are probably too close to the enemy team. Like even this, like the Zarya killing the McCree, the only way you should be dying to a Zarya as a McCree in this comp is if she throws a right click across the map at high charge and somehow snipes you, right? You shouldn't be within beam range in this particular instance. Maybe you're just dying to reset, but I'm just spitballing a little bit here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So general TLDR, like wrapping it up. You know what? Actually, again, I want you guys telling me what are the main takeaways here, basically as you can. One at a time. One of you give me one.
Ult track quicker.
Okay, quicker. Basically the whole communication cycle is a little faster. Okay, second one.
Positioning.
Okay, positioning based on what?
Our angles are, and we're pushing in to brawl.
Sure. Just essentially as you can, like what comp are we playing? Okay, so what range do we want to play? Right?
Long.
Right, exactly. But what if the tables were turned, right? And you guys were playing brawl. I want you guys thinking about this just as much as you are now. Like the goal isn't for you guys to know all the answers. The goal is for you to put effort into thinking about positioning with every comp you play. Right? If you roll out on this comp, we would be talking about how you want to play close angles and things like that, right? Same thing. But I need you guys to think about it. You see what I'm saying? And talk about it in your planning stage. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the last thing? What's the last big thing with the planning stage?
Think about what our comp wants to do.
And
plan around that.
Yes. With your what?
With your ultimates.
Yep, exactly.
I'm so smart.
Brilliant. And good looking. So yeah, that's the goal. It's like as quickly as you can, ult track. Okay, guys, what does our comp want to do generally? Okay, how should we position around our ultimates, and that's it. And I'm gonna tell you something that I'm making this sound very simple, and it is. But something I always say when I coach is there's a very important difference between simple and easy. Simple is simple as in it's not complicated. There's only a couple of basic steps, but it takes a lot of practice to do. Like I could describe doing a cartwheel as you just put one hand down, you put the other hand down, and you flip your legs around, and good stuff happens. But it's not easy, right? At least for a lot of people, it's not easy. Whereas I could describe making a sandwich as very complicated, but it's not hard. There's a lot of steps to making a sandwich, but each step is a piece of cake, right? But does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess this is where we can kind of pause and just Q&A it up, because the VOD's done. I think for the most part, that topic is kind of touched on. Do you guys understand like what goals you should be having as a team for right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I would highly recommend, if it comes to the planning and communication, focus on those three things. And honestly, what I would do is don't even focus on all three. I would focus on one or two per scrim block. Like maybe one scrim block, you guys are literally like laser fast with your ult tracking and starting the communication cycle really fast, right? And you're focusing on doing that proper. And then maybe another scrim block, you guys are like really thinking about how to position against the compositional matchup. And in another block, you guys are really focusing on, all right, guys, like speak up. Like we're going to use these ultimates. How do you want to use your ultimates? Like, what are we doing? You see what I'm saying? But like, don't try and do everything at once, because doing all three of those perfectly is going to be really challenging, and you're probably going to overwhelm yourself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Q&A. I've got 10 minutes. What are questions? And it doesn't have to be about just this VOD review. It can be micro, macro, meta, hero specific, map specific, anything you guys want.
It's hard to think of like a question. Like, I don't know.
What do you want to talk about? How was your day?
My day was perfect.
I woke up
Yeah.
at 3 p.m. an hour before this VOD review.
That's interesting, because so usually when I ask that question, how was your day, people generally like brag, I generally don't have people like, basically divulging that they're a degenerate lazy bum. So I guess that's a plus. Okay.
Hey, I had classes all day.
Good classes all day. Okay. You know what? Actually, I take that back. I prefer the degenerate lazy bum over the really boring stuff. Oh, classes today. Okay, right.
Hey, I'm paying 20 grand for this stuff. Come on, don't.
Okay,
don't
220 grand. So he's not only
That
is
was
he
your choice,
boring,
though.
but he's also stupid. So okay.
Oh my god.
I'm not good. Damn.
Got him.
Here's the roast test.
Yeah, that's right. I saved it up.
I mean, at least I spend my money on stuff that's important.
True,
like spending
true,
on school,
True.
kind of lame.
Or coaching
Genshin's
sessions.
where it's at.
Cringe.
True.
Yeah, super cringe. Imagine.
It makes you feel any better. I bought a $150 mouse.
No, it doesn't.
That's lame.
How does that supposed
What's
to
wrong
make
with you
anybody
guys?
feel any better?
Because
Guys,
it makes me
I'm
feel better.
financially incapable in multiple different ways. That's great. That's what you love to hear. All right, what do you guys like? You guys said no questions off the top of your head. Come on.
Well, I actually had some
All
questions.
right, do it.
So like, far as I guess this is for myself, not necessarily for everyone else. I don't know.
Mhm.
But basically, what does it take to get to Contenders?
Okay.
Because I really want to get there.
Being absolutely bat crap insane. No, I'm just kidding. To get to Contenders, I mean, it takes a lot of work. The first thing I would say to you is number one, focus on being a better teammate in the team that you are now. I think a lot of like you as an individual should be looking to get better and ranked. And then when it comes to scrims, you should be thinking about how to be a better teammate with the team you're with. There's a lot of players I know that do like team hopping. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this team sucks, we go to the next team. This team sucks, we go to the next team. This team sucks, we go to the next team. But the only time I really recommend team hopping is if your SR is just too high and you're just too good. Or your team is literally like a toxic crap hole. And I don't think this team really catalogs as that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? You seemed a little rough, so who knows? But no, I'm kidding. But like because the thing is like the reason why I don't recommend team hopping until you're literally like 400, 500 SR higher than your teammates is because the things that we talked about in this chat and the things that you're going to deal with working with other people, like communicating, solving problems, like synergizing, I promise you it doesn't change the higher rank you get. That stuff that you're practicing or working on and being a better teammate now is the same exact crap that you're going to be doing when you get to Contenders or even Overwatch League.
Imagine like jumping high school to high school. Like you're gonna have to remake all your friends and whatever. It's basically the same thing if you're gonna team up.
Friends.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like the thing is like you might find a team with like the 50, 100 SR better, but like the point is you're starting over, like figuring out problems and being a better teammate, starting over. Like there's a big problem with this in Contenders a lot. Like teams like Sheer Cold, everybody thinks like they overperformed, right? Because they didn't have a lot of big name Contenders players, but it's because they just like we stuck together and like we really worked on team synergy and they'd been together for months and months and months, and so like the team synergy starts to fall together. And remember the leadership, right? That starts to really come into play a lot more the more serious people play together. So what I would recommend is like really take rank seriously, like grind rank, work on your individual improvement, and then really take this team seriously. Like pretend this is not just a team that you want to survive and do okay with, but that you want to be like the best possible teammate. And you want to be as good of it, like help as many problems and be a good leader, be a good communicator and like figure things out. And because I'm telling you, again, not just the coaching that I gave you in terms of the in game, but how you relate to these guys, like it doesn't change. It doesn't change. And then when you get to be, you're consistently diamond, and you're smurfing and your plat scrims, go ahead. But then the same logic applies. You get to diamond consistently, and then you don't leave your team until you're like consistently masters, and then you leave, and then you're only doing it because you're so much at a different level. It's not doing it because you're getting bored. There's a lot of players out there that just team hop and they never really address the issue. And the issue is that they need to learn how to be a better teammate, and sticking with a team and forcing themselves to figure it out would just be like help them out so much more. There is no perfect team in Overwatch. It just doesn't happen.
The shock.
Except for this team, obviously. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? We got 7 more minutes.
Does that? I just messaged you something. Does that look good, or is there more steps to planning that I'm missing?
Are they playing? Sure. I would say the first thing that you want to do is like before you even look at what they're playing, know what your comp is, like what the whole point of your comp is. So like we remember the first thing before we even looked at their comp. Hey guys, we're playing a spammy comp. Because then that helps you to like you ingrain that in your head, and that helps you to instantly like kind of as soon as you see their comp, you already know kind of what to do.
Key.
And it's a lot of steps, but a lot of those steps kind of mesh together.
Yeah, so eventually you'll know what like the first 2 steps. You'll eventually know just those instantly. By when you do all that.
Right, exactly. You just internalize it. You already know it. It's like you see a red light, you stop at the red light. You see a green light, you go. You see a yellow light, you accelerate rapidly. No, I'm just kidding. But you have things you see and you react without even thinking about it. And definitely like what comp you play, what comp you see kind of falls into that category. The ults, that's something that in the ult tracking and like how to play around their ults, that's constantly changing and learning. So that part is something you're always going to have to think about. But in terms of like your compositional basic positioning, the more you guys purposefully practice it, not just practice it, but like actually think about it consciously, the easier it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Other questions, guys, because that was a good one.
Question.
I guess.
Oh.
Interrupting each
Go
other,
ahead.
man.
Okay.
Maybe you should find another team. These guys suck. Holy cow.
I have a question for kind of like how to handle like comms like in the middle of a fight.
Sure.
So, when things kind of get like hot and heavy, I guess, and everyone's just kind of like trying to click heads.
Yep.
I feel like there's like one or two routes we normally go in. Either one route is everyone's just kind of like calling out a random character,
Yep.
but there's no focusing on who's the best character that we should be targeting, whether it be like a low support or, a DPS character that's, pumping a lot of damage versus just like dead silence.
Yep.
So I guess like how do you balance the two? And I guess do you have any like general tips that we could apply that could kind of help things go smoother?
So I'll basically give you a couple of life hacks when it comes to this. So first thing first is that I'm of the firm belief that like mid-fight communication will almost always have some form of chaos in it, no matter what level or what composition you're playing. It doesn't matter if you're Overwatch League level or not. Like everybody, I think target focus is a big target focus, and obviously that's something that you want to be consciously working on whenever you can, but it's significantly less important than like setting up the stage. You know what I'm saying? Which is why planning is so important, because if you plan and position properly, you generally will end up shooting the same target. You know what I'm saying? You'll end up kind of like cohesively working together. So what you're describing is like some of that mid-fight chaos that happens, even if you set things up properly. And that's, again, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. So one thing that you can do to kind of discourage it or improve it is, number one, you need leadership. You need mid-fight leadership. And the way you can break this down is either A, you have somebody on your team who's very confident and very consistent with like target calls and communication, who can kind of takes lead mid-fight. So your Mercy player, your main support, main tank, DPS, doesn't matter. Guys, shoot my target, and then calls the target, and they need to be consistent at that. They need to not only be comfortable, but they need to be consistent with it. Or you change that depending on the composition you're playing. So maybe you have, everybody's kind of comfortable with doing that. So you look at the comp you're playing and be like, hey, we're playing like, Ryan. We should probably listen to our Ryan. Or we're playing like, monkeys or Sombra. Like we should probably listen to who our Sombra wants to shoot at, Or we're playing like spam comp. Like we should probably like target who our Zen is shooting at. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a lot of different ways. So you can either have, but the big goal is to try and have one designated person who can kind of like lead mid-fight, and that everybody knows that they need to be listening to as best they can. That's not necessarily the most perfectly optimal way of doing it, but to be honest with you, like, it works. And
so if we had like a Zen, we would be listening to Discords and obviously shoot Discord targets, right? Instead of having someone separately shot call, we just listen to Discord targets and then target those.
And so the goal is just to find whoever is comfortable, is to number one, find somebody who's comfortable doing that, and then finding which person is the best in the composition. Because here's the thing, I might be optimal to have your Zen calling Discords and target focus on that, but if your Zen's not comfortable doing that, don't make your Zen do it. Make your main tank do it. Because it's better to have somebody who's more confident with it than to force somebody who's optimal with the comp. Because you're gonna have to understand that, like, when it comes to team play, there's very few hard rules. A lot of it is just playing on like the kind of people that you have. You know what I'm saying? But if you do have a lot of people that don't mind calling and are very consistent with it, then obviously pick the one that's most optimal for the comp. But does that make sense, guys? And obviously the goal is to get everybody listening to each other and not just one shot caller leader. But in the meantime, that is definitely a life hack of making it work. And it gives a responsibility, if you ever do have those dead times, that, hey, we messed up, but we know this one person shouldn't be silent, right? If there's dead silence, there's that one guy or girl that's going to be saying, hey, we need to be doing this, let's go, and kind of kick your butt in gear. And I think that's important, that you always have that one person that's responsible to make sure something's happening. Okay, does that kind of make sense? It's like here's a good example of like, you have a, if somebody needs to, actually, here's a really good example. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but like whenever there's an emergency or an accident, it's really important, if you're a first responder, that you don't say somebody call 911. You specifically point to somebody and say, you call 911, because it's a very, otherwise everybody thinks somebody else is going to do it, right? Sure, because you might have 4 people call 911. Okay, unlucky, but at least you have somebody that's always going to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, but yeah, don't worry as much. Like maybe down the road, you guys can work on some of the chaotic comms and like focus more on like kind of like streamlining it and not making as much info calls. But to be honest, that's a constant battle that you guys will never completely solve. That's just Overwatch in a nutshell. It's a confusing, conflicting, crazy, chaotic game. So your job is to try and avoid so much of the big issues, and then some of the little stuff, don't sweat it. It's okay. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering, like, far as like spam goes, since like the experimental might go through, how do you think that will change the meta?
So I think it's gonna make some variations of Brawl and Dive a little stronger. I think Brawl and Dive is really been struggled because how strong Echo has been. And certainly a nerf to Zen is a nerf to spam as well. But it's hard to say. I think we will have to kind of wait and see. I know at your rank, I wouldn't worry too much about it because generally the meta is, even at the pro level, it's so micro. It's just like, it's almost like more of a mental thing than it is a physical thing. But I think spam will be a little bit less appealing because one of the reasons why spam was so very strong was because Echo was strong, and Echo was strong because her ability to poke out tanks, dive tanks, pre-fight was not matched by any other character. Because Ashe can do a lot of damage, but you can hide from an Ashe. It's very hard to hide from an Echo because she can fly around corners, basically, and she can permanently shoot you. So I think spam will be a little less strong, but we'll just have to wait and see. I do think Ryan has been power creeped a little bit. I think we might see some Ryan cons come back, but we'll see.
Cool.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay, because if not, you guys can just message me, and I'll be happy to answer any of the stuff over text. Okay, well, GG's, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on. Good luck working on that stuff. Like I said, the biggest thing I can tell you is just keep it simple. Don't like we talked about a lot today, but just when you get into the scrim, keep it simple, and you'll have a lot more fun. All right, guys, have a good night. Thank you so much for having me over.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
For the help.
See you guys. Okay, guys, that was Team Delicious Ducks. I've never even looked at their stupid team name, and that was a paid team coaching session that we did with them with a little bit of a Q&A at the end. Basically, like the goal is like to stream more of this stuff, but also to like make the whole team side of Overwatch more accessible for you guys, because like if you guys are ever interested in a team, and this is kind of what it's like, and this is like a plat level team, and obviously all the players want to improve, but like this kind of team cohesive fun type of Overwatch, thank you for the posture check, is available for a lot of different people. So obviously had a lot of fun, and if you guys have any questions, I'll probably stream for another minute or two before we wrap up. So any last questions before we wrap this up? Structure has many people suggesting targets when the main team confirms them. Sure, like team structures just depend on team by team. Like you want to play more to your player strengths rather than sticking with only one structure. Thanks for all that, Spilo. Yeah, no worries. Had a good time. A lot of fun. Hair check. Man, I come in for 1 minute and you guys are already cashing in hair checks. The hair never changes. Okay, well, you say that. It changes in like its ability to like defy gravity. Sometimes it's like a 90%, sometimes like it's 100%.